Welcome to the channel, where today's story could change how you look at every single penny in your pocket, because what if a tiny oversight in a government mint facility created a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so impossibly valuable that it turned heads across the globe, triggered an underground chase among elite collectors, and forced numismatic historians to question the very limits of coin minting perfection? What if the 2005 D1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, held within its copper-plated zinc body a secret so monumental, so catastrophic in its implications, that it shattered the boundaries between accident and artifact, launching it into the stratosphere of collectibles and rewriting the record books of the rarest U.S. coins ever struck? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was never meant to exist in its current form, that escaped layers of quality control and verification processes, a coin whose very survival is a riddle tangled in threads of bureaucratic error, lost dies, experimental pressings, and numismatic folklore, a coin that has become the stuff of legend, shrouded in whispers of double strikes, off-metal compositions, missing clad layers, ghost images, inverted mint marks, phantom initials, unexplainable die clashes, and ultra-rare transitional designs believed to have been destroyed or never authorized. But one coin, possibly even more, slipped through the cracks and emerged into the wild, hiding in plain sight, mistaken for a normal cent by countless people before finally being spotted by an obsessive collector whose trained eye saw what others missed: a strange glint, a misaligned feature, a doubled image of Lincoln's profile, or an uncanny weight and feel that didn't match any known standard. And so began the unraveling of one of the U.S. Mint's most elusive secrets, a story buried beneath layers of red tape, forgotten records, and official silence. The 2005 D penny, like so many modern coins, was struck during an era of high-speed automated minting, yet somehow anomalies began to appear: reverse sides misaligned, strange foreign planchet strikes showing up in circulation, coins with razor-sharp doubling so dramatic it looked intentional, yet no records confirmed such experimental dies. Could this be the result of a rogue mint employee testing designs after hours, or a catastrophic mix-up in the planchet feed system involving coins meant for foreign countries or older minting years? Some experts speculate the 2005 D anomaly stems from leftover transitional blanks from previous years, or even blank discs meant for another denomination entirely, such as the elusive bronze planchets last legally used decades earlier. And suddenly the stakes grow higher when a well-preserved 2005 D cent surfaces at auction with a composition and weight defying known specs, sparking a firestorm of bidding that ends in a six-figure hammer price and the shocked silence of a numismatic world. Unprepared for what this meant, reports soon follow from various corners of the country, collectors discovering 2005 D cents with ghost images from previous designs peeking through the reverse, clash marks resembling Canadian coins, or even strange die rotations suggesting an interrupted pressing cycle. Then come the conspiracy theories. Was there a hush-hush minting project? Were coins pressed on retired foreign dies? Was this part of a scrapped bicentennial trial design quietly disposed of but never fully destroyed? Or perhaps more chilling, was this a distraction coin, created to mislead or cover up a larger issue inside the mint? As more examples surface, each showing inconsistencies but eerie similarities, the collector world goes into overdrive, testing coins with X-ray fluorescence machines, posting findings to underground forums, connecting dots between odd shipments from the Denver Mint and unexplained metal sourcing logs. And it's not long before stories begin surfacing of high-stakes trades, of collectors offering vintage Ferraris, land titles, even rare Picasso sketches in exchange for a verified 2005 D error specimen, pushing the boundary between obsession and madness. One Florida collector reportedly liquidated half his crypto holdings to chase a 2005 D cent that weighed exactly 3.11 grams and showed a misaligned die strike with doubling visible under magnification. Another story tells of a retired mint employee anonymously mailing a letter claiming he witnessed a strange batch of cents being struck in Denver that year, but was sworn to secrecy and threatened with termination if he spoke out. Yet no official records back up these claims, and the mint remains frustratingly silent, dismissing inquiries as conspiracy or misattribution. But the stories refuse to die, and as they grow, so does the value of these coins. A 2005 D cent with dramatic doubling sold privately for $76,000. while another with an unexplainable reverse ghosting pattern fetched $93,500 from an anonymous Asian collector who reportedly flew in with armed guards just to finalize the transaction. Meanwhile, underground grading communities begin creating unofficial tiers for these mysterious cents, with terms like Phantom Strike, Denver Spectre, and Copper Ghost becoming shorthand for variants not recognized by major grading companies but worth fortunes on the shadow market. Some researchers have even tried to track down the exact die pairs used that year, reverse engineering known errors from authenticated coins and comparing them to mint release timelines, concluding that certain batches from mid-2005 may contain microscopic variances that correlate with known anomalies. Then, in a shocking twist, an unopened mint bag dated April 2005 is discovered in a private estate sale in Kansas, and when opened, it contains 4 cents bearing reverse features completely unlike any known variant, including one with a split image of Lincoln's face overlaid with a ghost profile facing the opposite direction. Metallurgical testing reveals odd levels of tin and zinc, hinting at foreign-planchet contamination or experimental alloys. Now the theory emerges that the mint may have briefly tested an alternate composition in response to rising metal prices, and these test strikes were never meant to circulate. The few that did may have escaped through improperly discarded test runs or were smuggled out under the nose of insufficient oversight. As word spreads, so does fear among institutions that previously dismissed these cents as harmless curiosities, and the numismatic market begins to reprice its understanding of modern rarities. Major auction houses begin quietly seeking authenticated 2005 D anomalies, issuing statements that previously mundane coins may now represent the holy grail of 21st century minting, and in the midst of it all, a single coin, preserved in a plastic sleeve since 2005 by a janitor who liked the look of its off-center strike, is appraised at over $1.4 million after it's confirmed to be struck on a foreign blank with an unregistered die set. The janitor, now retired, becomes a folk hero, and his story ignites a fresh frenzy of penny hoarding, with Americans scouring old jars, drawers, and rolls in the hope that they too might uncover the next $1 million cent, all while whispers of unconfirmed specimens circulate in collector circles, with rumors of a coin featuring a full reverse struck upside down and another showing traces of a wheat-ear reverse thought extinct since 1958. Could these be remnants of a lost test project, or evidence of an inside job by rogue mint workers preserving forgotten die varieties? The truth remains elusive, but one thing is certain: the 2005 D 1-cent coin has become more than a penny. It's a portal into a world of mystery, value, history, and obsession that defies logic, ignites imagination, and proves that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest secrets. So the next time you find a penny, especially one from 2005 with a tiny D beneath the date, take a closer look. What you're holding could be a minting mistake worth millions, a treasure hidden in plain sight, and a piece of American numismatic history that no one saw coming. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through one of the most astonishing coin mysteries ever unearthed, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2005 D 1-cent coin saga, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next unbelievable story could be sitting right in your change jar, just waiting to be discovered. Next, 1994 1-cent USA coins, where today we unravel a numismatic mystery so electrifying it could shake the very foundations of coin collecting history. What if a small, almost imperceptible mistake in a government mint, hidden in plain sight for decades, made one humble 1994 1-cent USA coin the most valuable piece of copper and zinc ever struck by human hands? A coin so anomalous, so impossibly rare, that its very existence defies logic and ignites obsession. Imagine holding in your palm a seemingly ordinary penny from your pocket change, yet unknowingly gripping a numismatic time bomb worth millions, forged not by intent but by a confluence of fate, accident, and bureaucratic oversight, a coin born in silence but destined to become a legend whispered in hushed tones by collectors, dealers, and historians across the globe. Let's journey deep into the bowels of the Philadelphia Mint in 1994, where amidst billions of routine coins, something inexplicable occurred: a misfeed in a die press, an off-metal strike, or perhaps a mule pairing that should never have existed, an error so perfect in its imperfection that it escaped detection, slipped into circulation, and vanished into the pockets of an unknowing public, lying dormant for years until one day, one collector stumbled upon it and the storm began. but what exactly happened that year? And why is this coin not listed in standard mint error catalogs? Why is it so elusive that even the most seasoned numismatists debate its legitimacy, its features, its pedigree? Was it a 1994 cent struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps a dime planchet producing a ghostly thin penny with reeded edges, or was it a double denomination hybrid, a penny struck over a Roosevelt dime or a Jefferson nickel, bearing spectral remnants of two coins merged into one? Could it be an ultra-rare mule error with a reverse from a different year or denomination entirely, or a phantom strike bearing a mint mark never intended to be used? In 1994, like a San Francisco S on a coin supposedly never struck for circulation, or even more chilling, could it be a deliberate yet unauthorized experimental piece, created quietly by a rogue employee testing compositions, dyes, or finishes after hours, bypassing quality control and oversight, an act of rebellion or genius or both? We look at the documented oddities of 1994, the coin shortages of the early 90s, the government cost-cutting experiments with alternative metals, and the whispers of mistruck test coins that were quickly buried, yet one may have escaped, and if so, where is it now, as stories circulate of a 1994 cent with mirrored proof-like surfaces found in a roll of business strikes, or one with extreme doubling across Lincoln's face and lettering as if the die had screamed during its final strike, or a 1994 D-coin exhibiting a striking anomaly that seems too precise for error and too bizarre for legitimacy, we begin to wonder, what are the odds that more than one extraordinary 1994 penny exists, and what are the chances that they are all connected? Dig through the archives of PCGS and NGC and you'll find whispers of submissions too controversial to certify, coins sent back ungraded, not because they were fake, but because no reference could define them. Was the mint experimenting with steel core cents again? Could an old 1943 zinc-coated blank have been used accidentally? Were there transitional blanks left over from Canada's 1 cent phase-out mixed into the production by mistake? Or was it a case of master die errors, where design elements from the previous year bled into the current one, creating ghostly double dates or a misplaced mint mark hovering in the field like a phantom? And then there are the tales, wild and unverifiable, yet too compelling to ignore, of collectors finding 1994 cents that weigh slightly less than standard, suggesting improper planchets or the use of blanks from a foreign country, or even struck on leftover blanks from commemorative issues. And what about the ones found with partial clad layers, as if the coin had forgotten it was ever meant to be a penny at all? And here the plot thickens further, because as auctions quietly record oddball 1994 cents selling for thousands with vague descriptions like unexplained mint error or possible off-metal strike, we realize that this story is not just about one coin, but perhaps a group of anomalous survivors, a flock of rogue pennies born in the same year, sharing a genetic glitch that makes them unicorns among horses. Experts argue, theories swirl. Some believe a batch of experimental blanks intended for a foreign contract somehow ended up under the penny dies in 1994, others suggest a freak accident with obsolete presses being tested again that year. And one retired mint worker allegedly claimed that a press technician noticed strange die alignment issues around April of that year but was told to ignore it to maintain production quotas. Then there's the collector in Ohio who claims to have found a 1994 cent with no trace of copper color, just silver gray across the surface and the distinct ring of a dime, tested to be struck on a 91% silver planchet, but when he sent it in for grading, it disappeared in transit and has never been seen again, lost or stolen or suppressed. Some go so far as to suggest government cover-up, that the coin is too controversial to acknowledge, for it would reveal that quality control and mint security failed in dramatic fashion. And in the world of high-end numismatics, these kinds of coins become mythologized, traded in the shadows, valued not just for rarity, but for the story, the mystique, the controversy. The kind of coin that brings seasoned experts to blows at conventions, where hush-hush deals are made in back rooms for six-figure sums, paid in crypto or precious metals, just to own a piece of what might be the rarest penny never officially confirmed. Now imagine the emotional journey of someone who thought they found just another penny in an old change jar, only to notice under magnification something was off, the spacing between, "In God We Trust," slightly too wide, the 9 in the date looking almost like a ghost 8, or a missing designer's initials that should be there. Imagine the pulse quickening, the heart racing, the breath catching in their throat as they realize they might be holding something that shouldn't exist. imagine their hesitation, fear even, to send it off for grading, worried that it might disappear like others before it, or worse, returned with a vague rejection and no explanation. The coin community online, obsessed with this coin, has dozens of threads filled with photos, half-blurry close-ups, grainy videos, and heated debates over authenticity and origin, and yet, despite the noise, no one can conclusively disprove its existence, nor can anyone prove how it came to be. It is the Schrodinger's cat of pennies, simultaneously real and not, until the day someone steps forward with the definitive specimen, flawless in condition and undeniable in error, and when that happens, if it happens, the numismatic world will never be the same again. We are left to wonder how many of these coins are still out there, buried in old coin jars, forgotten in dresser drawers, or sitting unnoticed in a dealer's junk box at a flea market. Maybe one is already in your pocket, waiting for your curiosity to awaken, and so we ask, could this be the coin that rewrites the rules, the overlooked treasure that changes a life, the modern Rosetta Stone of American coinage? If so, what is it worth? 10,000? 50,000? A million? Or is it, as some suggest, priceless because it is the key to a mystery no one yet understands? We've chased the facts, the rumors, the wild theories, the auction anomalies, and the lost coins. We've heard from experts who dismiss it and those who swear by it, and now the search passes to you, the viewer. Check your change, search your rolls, examine your jars, for the next great discovery might not come from a museum or an auction house, but from someone like you, watching this very video. And if you think you found the 1994 cent of legend, the one that defies classification, the one that shouldn't exist, then you hold not just a coin, but a mystery wrapped in copper, struck by chance, and born to be legendary. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into America's most elusive penny, and if you enjoyed this journey through numismatic mystery and suspense, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next coin we explore might just be hiding in your pocket right now. Next, 1977 D1 cent USA coins, where today we uncover a story so astonishing, so riddled with mystery and rich with hidden value, that you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. What if a tiny, nearly invisible mistake turned an ordinary 1977 D1 cent coin into the most valuable and elusive treasure ever struck by the United States Mint? A copper-plated whisper from history worth millions or even more. Imagine a coin so deceptively common in appearance, yet cloaked in a legacy of production errors, historical missteps, and collector obsession so fierce it borders on myth, with whispers of secret auctions, locked vaults, and numismatists dedicating their lives to a single red-hued penny that shouldn't even exist as we know it. This isn't just currency, this is legend forged in Denver's minting presses. Born during a pivotal time when America's economy was shifting, inflation was rising, and the copper content of the penny itself was under national scrutiny, a time when mistakes could slip through unnoticed amidst massive coin production and cost-cutting initiatives, creating a perfect storm for anomaly, and deep within that storm emerged the 1977 D1 cent coin with rumored double dies, off-center strikes, transitional blanks, and the holy grail, the wrong planchet errors, including those minted on rare leftover silver dime planchets, or struck using experimental alloys meant for foreign contract coins that were never supposed to make it into circulation, yet did, perhaps by accident, or perhaps, as some suggest, by quiet rebellion within the mint itself by insiders fascinated by secrecy and legacy, the type of mint worker who knew exactly which buttons to press and when, the kind who might have pocketed test strikes for future fortune, and though official records deny their existence, collectors have unearthed just enough strange specimens to spark wild theories and epic quests that feel more like treasure hunts than coin collecting, including the tale of a Kansas man who found a 1977 D penny that looked perfectly ordinary until it was weighed and found to be inexplicably light, or the Ohio collector whose coin had doubling on Lincoln's eye so precise it defied logic and forced grading experts to re-evaluate what was considered possible for that year's production. And then there are the deep internet forums, underground shows, and whispers from seasoned dealers about an ultra-rare 1977 D penny without a mint mark at all, something that shouldn't exist unless struck from a proof die accidentally used in Denver, a blunder that would rewrite numismatic history if authenticated, especially since Denver never struck proof coins, and these rumors are stoked by a well-known but rarely seen image of such a coin held behind glass at a private collection in Sweden, reportedly purchased for an undisclosed sum believed to be over $3 million, never publicly confirmed but talked about in hushed voices by top-tier experts who know that where there's smoke in numismatics, there's often fire, especially when paired with government documents mysteriously redacted when FOIA requests were made about experimental strikes during the mid to late 1970s, a time when the Mint was experimenting with aluminum cents, foreign contract blanks, and ultra-lightweight compositions that may have been quietly discarded, destroyed, or, as many suspect, smuggled out by rogue insiders who couldn't resist the temptation to play God with history, and these speculations only intensify when you consider the staggering number of coins struck at the Denver Mint in 1977, more than 4.2 billion, yet only a fraction have ever been examined closely by experts or collectors, leaving the terrifying possibility that the rarest U.S. coin of the 20th century might be sitting, forgotten, in a penny jar in someone's basement, waiting to be discovered, perhaps by someone who recognizes the faint doubling on the date, or notices that Lincoln's bust is unusually sharp or unusually blurred in the wrong places, or who simply feels a strange weight imbalance when the coin is flipped, and while most people overlook these details, the trained eye sees a puzzle piece, part of a bigger picture, a numismatic map to a lost treasure that spans decades of secrecy, mystery, and the kind of lore that keeps people digging through rolls of cents late into the night, hoping, dreaming, wondering if they will be the next name added to the list of shocking discoveries, like the Illinois teacher who sold a suspicious-looking 1977 D penny at auction expecting $20 only to watch bidding soar to over $120,000 once experts realized it was struck 10% off-center on a dime blank, creating a ghostly coin that shows Lincoln's profile in eerie alignment with Roosevelt's familiar border, a Frankenstein of coinage, one of a kind, and yet just plausible enough to suggest there might be others, out there, waiting, and this pattern continues, with story after story emerging of collectors finding oddities in the 1977 D series, ranging from dramatic die cracks that split the coin's reverse like lightning to bizarre plating errors that created rainbow-toned surfaces collectors call fire pennies, to those with complete absence of detail from one side, suggesting improperly annealed planchets or early-stage die failures, and even a few rumors of 1977 D cents struck using Canadian blanks, a result of the Mint's occasional collaboration with foreign mints, which would produce coins just slightly thinner, lighter, or different in color, and so subtle most would never notice unless they knew exactly what to look for, and all of these bizarre anomalies add to the growing consensus among top collectors that the 1977 D cent isn't just another penny, it's a rabbit hole, a Pandora's box of numismatic secrets, and the deeper you go, the more you find, including a now famous dispute between two top-tier grading services over a single specimen that one swears is a double die and the other insists is machine doubling, leading to a grading war that captivated coin forums for months and ended only when the coin disappeared from auction altogether. Allegedly purchased privately by a foreign billionaire who also owns a 1943 copper cent and has reportedly offered a bounty of $1 million for any confirmed 1977 D penny struck on a silver dime blank with complete visible legends, essentially a unicorn coin, and such massive rewards have motivated an entirely new generation of treasure hunters who see the humble 1977 D not as worthless copper but as a golden ticket to numismatic immortality, a way to etch their names beside the greats, and with every new roll opened, every jar searched, the legend grows stronger, the mystery deeper, especially as more whispers emerge from former Mint employees who recall strange audit discrepancies from that year, unusual delays in scrap accounting, and unexplained gaps in the chain of custody for experimental planchets, as well as one chilling account from a retired worker who claimed to have seen a tray of silver-colored cents marked for destruction only to see them vanish days later, never officially documented, never explained, and while skeptics call these stories exaggeration or coincidence, the growing list of confirmed 1977 D anomalies suggests something far stranger happened that year, something almost deliberately obscured, and the question remains, is the most valuable penny in American history still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to discover it, and if you found it, would you even know? Because this coin, the 1977 D 1-cent piece, is not just a mistake, it's a masterpiece of mystery, a numismatic enigma decades in the making, and its story continues to evolve, stretch, and haunt the dreams of those who dare to believe that maybe, just maybe, history's greatest coin is still waiting to be held in the palm of your hand. So if you've ever doubted the value of a single cent, now is the time to reconsider everything, because what looks like a penny may actually be a door into the most valuable secret in American numismatic history. So check your change, subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video if you believe hidden treasures still exist, because the next great discovery might just be yours. Next, 1989, D1 cent USA coins, where today's journey into the mysterious world of American coinage begins with a question that could change the way you see everyday change forever. What if a tiny, almost imperceptible mistake in a single US mint facility transformed a humble 1989 D1 cent coin into one of the most valuable and controversial artifacts in the entire history of American numismatics? What if something so small, so seemingly ordinary, became a gateway to a story of hidden truths, accidental rarities, and jaw-dropping million-dollar discoveries? Imagine holding in your hand a penny minted in Denver in 1989, a year that seemed routine for the US Mint, but somewhere along the line, a confluence of human error, machinery malfunction, and overlooked protocol gave rise to a coin so anomalous, so extraordinarily rare, that it would go undetected by the public and even many experts for decades, circulating in pockets, drawers, and forgotten jars, until one day, a sharp-eyed collector spotted something the world had missed: a minute doubling on Lincoln's bust, or an off-center strike, or a copper planchet never meant to exist in a post-1982 world when zinc became the standard metal for cents, or perhaps a dramatic clash mark that suggested the dies themselves were damaged, swapped, or misaligned during a chaotic production cycle, each possibility more tantalizing than the last, each theory leading down new rabbit holes, raising more questions than answers, and stirring a numismatic frenzy that bordered on obsession. As collectors, historians, and conspiracy theorists began to dig deeper into US Mint records, searching for anomalies, shipping logs, misprints, and even eyewitness accounts from former employees who dared to hint at production oddities that were never meant to see daylight, sparking whispers of experimental strikes, unapproved metal compositions, and possibly even phantom batches minted under the radar during late-night shifts or equipment tests gone awry, creating coins that should not exist, yet undeniably do, with some examples rumored to have fetched astronomical prices at secretive private auctions where identities were concealed and verification methods were whispered in codes known only to elite graders and shadowy dealers operating outside the public eye, while mainstream experts scrambled to authenticate newly surfaced specimens with conflicting features, some showing a missing mint mark, others with inexplicable doubling under high magnification, some struck with outdated dies or struck on foreign planchets, leading to wild speculation about international minting experiments, political interference, or deliberate sabotage intended to test security systems within the mint itself. As legends grew about a specific batch of 1989 D cents smuggled out in lunchboxes or mislabeled bags, slipping through the cracks of government oversight and ending up in circulation, where a few lucky finders unwittingly held them without realizing their multimillion-dollar potential, until the numismatic world began to piece together the truth, one coin at a time, uncovering hidden varieties like the Ghost D, where the mint mark is so faint it seems spiritual in nature, or the Floating Roof variant where the Lincoln Memorial appears as if levitating due to incomplete die strikes, or the infamous split planchet before strike error which leaves the coin wafer thin and hauntingly fragile, as if warning us of its accidental birth. And every new discovery fed the fire of collector mania, resulting in late-night treasure hunts, metal detector expeditions, and frantic estate sale searches in hopes of unearthing a coin that could be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, with certain examples, authenticated by PCGS or NGC, reportedly hitting auction blocks and shocking the world with record-breaking bids from museums, hedge fund investors, and eccentric billionaires who viewed them not merely as coins, but as irreplaceable artifacts of American era, history, and intrigue, fueling a cultural phenomenon where even novice collectors began scrutinizing every penny from 1989 with jeweler's loupes and digital microscopes, driving up demand and inflating values in real time, especially when rumors began to swirl of an ultra-rare, wrong planchet strike where a 1989 D penny was allegedly minted on a dime or foreign coin blank, throwing traditional classification systems into chaos and prompting emergency reviews from grading institutions, all while Internet forums exploded with speculation, counterfeit alerts, and blurry photos of coins that might, or might not, be worth millions, further adding to the confusion and elevating the legend of the 1989 descent from anomaly to obsession, as YouTube channels, Reddit threads, and TikTok coin hunters shared cryptic clues and personal accounts of once worthless pennies sold for the price of luxury cars, sometimes triggering bidding wars, lawsuits, or even theft, with one particularly dramatic tale involving a missing 1989 D double struck with broadstrike error that vanished during transit to a grading facility and was later discovered years later inside a vintage piggy bank purchased at a flea market for $5, confirming that these coins could surface anywhere, at any time, from anyone's pocket change to dusty attic boxes. All while numismatic historians attempted to reconcile the existence of such variants with the official mintage numbers of 1989, which exceeded 5.3 billion, but those numbers couldn't explain the anomalies, nor the inconsistencies between certain batches, nor the subtle design irregularities on Lincoln's face or lettering thickness on "In God We Trust" that pointed to quiet die changes never documented publicly, suggesting that perhaps the mint was testing new materials, reverse engravings, or strike pressures without full disclosure, which opened the door to even more theories, some involving Cold War-era secrecy protocols or experimental metallurgical blending that left trace signatures now detectable only with advanced spectroscopy tools, prompting a new era of coin analysis powered by AI-driven imaging and ultra-high-definition scans, while old-school collectors clung to their calipers and mint reports, often clashing over what constituted a true 1989 D anomaly, adding drama and tension to an already fever-pitched market where every new discovery could rewrite the known narrative, all while the government remained eerily silent, refusing to confirm or deny the possibility of rogue errors or test strikes slipping into the public domain, a silence that only deepened the mystery and drew more eyes to this peculiar penny, whose legacy continues to grow as more examples surface and break records, each one telling a slightly different story, yet all tied to that fateful year and the Denver Mint's shadowy production cycle that left the numismatic community forever changed, and as we follow the twisted trail of rumors, hidden collections, lost dies, and dramatic rediscoveries, one thing becomes hauntingly clear: the 1989 D 1-cent coin is not just a penny, it's a portal to a deeper story, one still unfolding, still evading complete understanding, and still waiting for the next bold collector to uncover the ultimate truth. So if you've ever doubted that a single coin could contain a world of mystery, value, and wonder, let this serve as proof that the smallest things often hide the biggest secrets. And before you toss aside another coin, remember, it might just be the one. So stay curious, stay searching, and if you enjoyed this numismatic mystery, like, share, and subscribe to join us on the next incredible journey through America's hidden coin history.